Hello, guys, and welcome to our first episode of Come Sit With Us. My name is Minnie.
I'm Lydia.
And I'm Chess, and I'm inviting you to come sit with us. So I'm the host for today. So every week we're going to have a different host because I've just picked the topic. That's the only reason, not because I'm special or anything. So today we're going to talk about having sex because it's easier than saying no. I feel like we've all done it and there's loads of reasons why we've done it and we're going to discuss them. But every week we're going to have a voice note or a message from someone talking about that topic like that week. So this week we have someone talking about having sex even though they didn't want to, just because it's easier than saying no. So let's start with the voice note, girls.
So basically I was with this guy once and we were doing like long distance. I would see him like once a week kind of thing. That's if I wanted to see him. No, that sounds awful. But I remember one time we had a whole day and we only saw each other for a few hours on a Saturday because my ship was in his hometown. So we'd spend probably max 7 hours together before I had to be back on board for my duties. Anyway, so we had this day together and there were so many nice things to do. We were in Italy, we could have gone to places, different things. And I was so excited for this day. And he came onto the ship and all he wanted to do was have sex the entire day. Like, oh, fair enough, like you haven't seen each other in a week and you gotta do what you gotta do, but come on now, like I wanted to do some nice things together and get to know each other properly and spend some time together. Oh my God, honestly, it was just constant. He was constantly wanting to do it all the time. We'd do it, he'd finish, and then we'd have like 2 minutes cuddling, and then it'd be like back at it. And do you know when you're just like, I actually don't want you to kiss me anymore, like I've had enough? That's how I felt. That's why he's my ex. No, not just that reason, but yeah.
Oh
God, girls. So first of all, we'll go into our own experiences, but what do you think of that? Like, what are your thoughts?
well, first of all, I'm like, fair fucking play to him. Like, he sounds like he's fucking on it. Like, so whoever he is, like, he'll make some woman really happy, I'm sure.
Oh, I feel for her. Like that. It must be hard. Like I know everyone loves everyone. Yeah, it's part of a relationship, isn't it? Like that intimate connection. But I mean, seeing someone once a week and them just wanting to go, literally, it sounds like they were together 7 hours and he wanted to go more than 7 times. I mean, Jesus Christ, like I couldn't cope. Could you?
No, like you're not their toy. It's not just like demand like sex. Like you're not like fucking, I don't even know what. Like you're not a dog. I don't know.
No.
Oh yeah, that's like having a blow up doll. Like it's almost like he sees her just like a hole that he can use.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is a real thing. Like blow up dolls. Please tell me you've seen it. The like the sex machines, like the women that you can buy that are
like
practically
robotic ones.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
I did not know that.
Did you not know that, Chess?
No, I didn't know it.
That's what she should have done when she broke up with him. She should have just sent him the link to one of those sex bot dolls and been like, "Here you go, son. Fucking have at that."
Oh God, yeah. I mean, no, I'm glad she got rid of him. Like, bye bye. What is that way?
I think it's hard, like, because obviously sex is such a, it's such a thing that connects you when you're in a relationship, and like everybody craves it, and some people need it more than others. But I also think there's a fine line between just really wanting to have sex with your partner and express that love and treating them like they're literally just a hoe. And it sounds fucking like he treated her like she was just a hoe. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. And the honeys, no one is just a hoe. Don't let people treat you like just a hoe. If you want to have sex all the time, you go for it. But don't just be there to please someone else.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've definitely had that experience as well, like more than once, in terms of wanting to have sex, or somebody wanting to have sex, and me just being like, oh God, it's just easier to say, fine, do it, go on. rather than having like saying no. Like, it depends what the situation is. I've had it within relationships where if you say no, they take it as like a really big rejection. I've had it in like normal, like say even like a one night stand or whatever, and maybe the guy is like a little bit forceful and you kind of feel like you can't say no, you know. Like, I do think that there is a point, if you don't know someone, there's a point of consent that you kind of like, you both need to be like, are we doing this? Okay, we're both doing this and we're okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think it's really hard because in some relationships, if you think about it, like, you know, classic case of been together a few years, got really comfortable, and then I have a lot of friends that have been like, you know, are we going to have sex? And when your partner does say no and you do get that rejection, it can be really hard. So I think in that circumstance, I think that if we're just packaging that up for anyone out there that's, you know, maybe is in a relationship or is having sex and is feeling like them and their partner aren't connecting, I think that's definitely a different topic for another time. Like, you know, this right now, what we're trying to talk about and air is those situations where you have sort of borderline felt uncomfortable, borderline felt like, I'm not really sure that this is actually what I want, but I don't really feel like that I have that much of a choice. And okay, do you know what? You probably do have a choice. You probably are very much able to be like, no, screw you, get out, like, and make a huge drama. But actually you've been on a night out, you've brought this guy back, and it's like, well, he's here, like, you know, he's here now and he's done something that you don't find that attractive, and you think, oh, that was a silly decision. But actually we've all been there and gone, do you know what, it's just bloody easier to get it over and done with. Or, you know what, you're being really forceful, like, I should just say yes because it's the easier option. And that is, I think, what more people need to speak about.
And you sometimes you feel like you're letting someone down. So once I was like seeing this guy, and I got along really well with him, and we'd go out on dates and we had fun, and it was great because I get along with most people. Like, I'm quite like bubbly, and maybe I was giving him the idea that I liked him more than I did. I don't know. Looking back at it now, I can understand why he saw it that way. So then, like, he'd want to have sex with me, and I just think like, I'll just have sex with him because I spend loads of time with him and I stay at his house. So even though I don't really want to have sex with him, I'll just have sex with him anyway. And I remember saying it to my mum, and I used to go to my mum, and he wants to have sex with me because, like, I'm with him and we're seeing each other and blah, blah, blah. And then my mum was like, you're not a fucking prostitute, Francesca. Like, if you don't want to have sex with him, don't have sex with him. But I don't know why I found it so hard to be like, oh, maybe it's because I hadn't yet come to the conclusion that I didn't want to see him and I didn't want to be with him. So I thought the only way I could keep up the whatever the relationship was is to sleep with him, which sounds really now I think about it. I don't know.
But maybe you felt like, I don't know, maybe you felt like a little bit guilty or something as well. Like, maybe you did know on some level that you didn't, like, you were kind of like, you know, over it, and you kind of thought, oh, I'll throw him a bone and I'll just let him do his thing, you know, that way. It's just, I don't know. Like, I've been in positions before with having, say, like, seeing somebody or having a one night stand and being like really drunk and being in bed with the guy. And you know, when you're just like drunk and you're just tired, like you just want to go sleep, like you might be like up for having sex, but you're like, actually, I'm just wrecked, I just want to go to sleep. And we were in bed, and he was this one particular guy kept trying to like come on to me and kept trying to, you know, whatever, and I kept being like, no, like, I'm really tired, I don't want to. And he just kept coming on to me. He wasn't like, he didn't keep coming on to me and then get like, you know, more forceful or anything like that. He just kept fucking pestering me, right? So at the end of it, I was just like, oh, fine, put it in. Like, I literally was like, fine, put it in. And I swear to God, I was half asleep by the time the full dick went in. I was literally, and I was probably like half asleep for the whole fucking thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, because I must genuinely admit, I don't, if I don't want it, I actually do. But I'm a cold-hearted I am a cold-hearted bitch. Like, I can't think of that many times significantly anything that massively springs to mind where I can think of more situations where I've, you know, practically been about to be doing the business and being like, I'm really not that interested, like, you can go. Because I feel like if a man felt that way, I don't think he would be afraid to say it. Now, I could be wrong there. I'm sure that there's some men that aren't, but I feel that society sets standards where it would be okay for a man to turn around and be like, no, you're not really my type. Like, you know, it's been a bit of fun, but see you later. And the girl would just have to get on with it. So why can't the guy take it too? I'm not saying that's a situation in all cases, but in my situation, I've been very much like, well, you know, I don't want it. So I'm not going to have it.
Mm. And
Oh
people,
no, that's so brilliant, Lydia. Like that's so brilliant because I have not had that strength more often than not in the past. Like I'm like growing up and like having sex for I started having sex when I was 15, so I've been having sex for like quite a while now, and like a lot of my sexual experiences growing up were to please the guy. I'll just say yes to please him. I'll just let him because whatever. I didn't have that like self-worth and confidence to be until recently to be like, no, I'm worth fucking more than that. And I don't want to have sex with him. So he's not going to enter my body. The
Yeah.
end. Like that's what I'd be like now. But I wasn't, and I was always like an outgoing girl, and I was always confident. Definitely people would have perceived me as confident and stuff, but definitely in that area, you know, I was very much like, oh god, like, you know, I don't know, I just, yeah, I let them do it a lot and I did find that men do not take no easily a lot of the
Yeah.
time in my experience.
Do you find that sits really like heavy on your shoulders, Minnie?
That I did that, like that I had like loads of like kind of just throwaway sex or whatever.
Well, now looking back, when you think about it, do you feel like does it hurt that you feel like you openly can say it's, you know, it was hard to say no to the men during that period of time?
Yeah, well, it makes me feel like sorry for myself when I was younger that I didn't feel that I was worth enough to say how I really felt. Um in some situations, and in other situations it just makes me really angry because I know I was pressured into it, like in a lot of situations, like in a
Yeah.
lot, like I mean, I'll even like a really small example of like an interesting thing that happened recently to me. I didn't actually ever have sex with this guy, right? But this will just give you an example of like, this is what I'm used to with men and me trying to say no to them. It seems to happen to me like a lot. So I was seeing this guy briefly for like, it was like a 4-day thing. We never had sex and whatever. And after the 4 days, I was like, do you know what? He is getting a bit too attached. And I knew he wanted like a relationship and I just didn't want one. So I was like, I don't want to lead him on. So I'm going to tell him like straight away. And when I told him, like we were out in this pub, I told him and I was like, listen, I'm not up for anything more. And I think that we should stop doing this because, you know, I think you're like very invested and I'm not there. And the first thing that he said was, he was like, oh, fucking hell. I fucking knew I should have done it. I fucking knew I should have just done it. In other words, he should have just fucked me, because we had like made out on the couch like a couple of nights and stuff. And he had said to me, I want to wait. You know, I don't want to like, I want to do this right. Cause and I was like, yeah, no, that's fine. Like, da, da, da. And then, and I think even one night I was like, we should just have sex. Like, let's just do it. And, you know, he was like, no, I want to wait. And that was like the first thing that he said to me when I said like, we're, you know, let's not do it. He said, I fucking knew I should have done it. And he was really nasty. And he was like, I can't fucking believe I'm hearing this tonight. I just can't believe it. Like he was so annoyed. So like they're the kind of like things that I am like, I have a lot of experience with a lot of men who they do not fucking like it when you reject them, whether that be in the bedroom or not. Like, and it's given me like I'm very afraid a lot of the time to say no.
Yeah.
So
I think ego is such a big thing. Like people have such big egos, especially when it comes to sex and like men and stuff, and they don't want to get them hurt. But then like it's they should never project that onto you because that's not your problem. Do you know what I mean?
You know
Totally.
what?
Saying no to them and them feeling hurt by it, it's not your fault. That's like something that they have inside of them. Like they need to work on themselves.
Totally.
And you know what? Like not contradictorily. Gosh, I'm getting my words in a right mumble tonight. But I do know some men out there that I've had a very similar conversation with, and they, you know, have been vulnerable enough to open up to me and say, as men sometimes, because we have willies, and you know there's that classic saying, men think with their penis, and there's been situations where you're with girls on a night out and they get a bit drunk and they start throwing themselves all over you, and you sort of take them home or whatever, you can get to that point and you think, right, cool, I'm gonna go now, whatever, you know, I'm not really that interested. And the girl then puts them in situations where they feel like they can't say no, and it's like, for them, they're also not you know, they should also be able to say no here, right? You know, we're all straight females, so we're talking from an experience of straight females, but you know, not to isolate men, because I think it's more probably people more so than men specifically, because I do know, I've been with girls before when they've been like, well, why doesn't he want to have sex with me? He should want to have sex with me, like, just because he's got a penis and thinks with his dick and is a little bit of a player, you know. So I think that as a human race, we have this thing of, like, you know, people talk about personal boundaries, and I think that that's got lost over the time in society, about, you know, when no means no, that's it. There's no ifs, there's no buts, there's no maybes, no matter who you are, girl, boy, whatever, however you identify yourself, no means no, and we should all be able to say that.
I've got such a cringy story, right? So, you know, you were saying it can happen to women as well. So I split up with a boyfriend, and I became obsessed with this boy. Like, you ask my friends, like, I'd only met him a couple of times, but I just become obsessed with him. Like, I used to speak to him on the phone a lot. Weird Francesca stalker obsession. And he just wouldn't have sex with me. Like, not that I'd ever tried to put it on him, but like, I remember I was out really drunk. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and I'd rung him and asked him to come pick me up. And he was like to me, I'm not coming to pick you up, Francesca, because I'm not having sex with you. He was like, yeah, that's what he said to me. And I was like, raw. He was like, yeah. I was like, here you go.
Raw.
He was like, because like, I don't want a relationship. And he knew that like, I hadn't slept with a lot of people. I've still only slept with 4 people. Like now, like I'm very like particular, and I've had a lot of relationships. So he was like to me, basically, like, I know you don't really want to have sex with me if it's not going anywhere, as in like if I'm not going to be your boyfriend or we're not going to be seeing each other. So he was like, I'm not having sex with you, I'm not coming to pick you up. And I was just like, I was so like, he gave me a list of reasons.
Oh my, but do you not think that's, am I weird in saying, actually, like, that not quite nice of him, because he knew that your boundary was, if we sleep together, you're going to want something more, and you know, I'm being transparent, I don't, so I don't want to take away from you something that you feel is so precious, even though I'm sure at the time you were like, oh my god, my ego is so bruised. But do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people, I definitely have slept with someone because I thought it was going somewhere, and been massively let down when they're like, cool, see you later. It hurts, doesn't it?
And you definitely get more attached. Like, you get more attached to people when you have sex with them. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. It's true.
Yeah, and I just
so
friends with benefits don't work.
no. And I just think he was actually a really nice person. You know what I mean? Like, actually, genuinely, a really lovely boy. Like, my ego was just like, what do you mean? Like, how dare you? Like, you know,
You're like, shit, you saw me, you called me out.
Like, you see me, like, you know, I'm not going to be your girlfriend, because he didn't want a girlfriend or anything at the time. He was like, I want time on my own, because he'd had like long relationships, and he knows that I'm not someone that's just ever slept around. So he knows in the long run, it'll just annoy me.
So girls, I have a question for you then. For our listeners out there, like listening, thinking, yes, I can relate to that. I am sure that maybe, and hopefully not, they might find themselves in this situation in the future. And hopefully they would have listened to the podcast and thought, yes, they come sit with us girls. I was sat there having a cup of tea with them, and now I know exactly what to do. So girls, let's say our listeners get into this situation. What is the best advice that you would give them?
Well, I think for me, what I would say, like, based on my experiences, like, I kind of always felt like my body was for someone else. Like, my body was for someone else's pleasure, for someone else's joy. And like, my advice to you would be, if you're in that situation, just remember that your body is yours. Like, it's for you, and it's your gift, it's your instrument, and it's your choice whether you let somebody in there into your space. So if you feel like you want to keep yourself like sacred in that moment, have the confidence to like honor yourself and your body, because it's kind of all you've got, and say no.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, yeah, I just think, yeah, it's your body, like your choice. I'm a big believer, and in that saying, and I think, yeah, just don't let people convince you. Like, don't let someone coerce you into doing it, and don't let someone make you feel guilty. That's the thing. I personally think, like, if someone makes you feel guilty enough, then you just do it. But don't do that. Don't do that. And I also want to make a point of, I know what we brought up in the podcast of being said no to. So not the one saying no, but being said no to. Like, and it knocking your ego. Like, forget your ego. If someone doesn't want to sleep with you, they don't want to sleep with you. Like, get over it. Don't keep pestering them. Like,
yeah, definitely.
let them be. Let them live. Just think of you, how you'd want to be. Like, you'd want someone to leave you alone if you didn't want to. So if someone else doesn't want to, leave them alone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my foot down and go back to what I was saying earlier. No means no. And I actually genuinely think that, as you know, like we have that whole thing where people go, it's a bit of a grey area, isn't it? No, it's not. It's not a grey area at all. No means no. And like, just because society has fed you, you know, you've had a conversation with someone where you've been put in that position and they've gone, classic. Well, did you lead them on? Yeah, well, yeah, I might have done. I might have had a flirt, but then I told them no. And that's it. You know, feel like, be confident in that. Be confident in your own decision. Like Chess is saying, like Minnie's saying, it's your body. Don't let someone make you feel guilty, and be strong enough to say no. And just because society tells you it's a grey area doesn't mean it is.
Yeah.
No means no. And you have to be strong enough to live and breathe that.
Confidence, that is it. Having the confidence to say no. So, because you know, like, we just say yes just to say yes, but making sure, actually, do I want to do this? Like, is this person for me? Do I want to let this person? Because it's actually like a really deep thing to have sex with someone. Like, do I want to let them into my world? You know what I mean?
So it's like, it's kind of what you're saying, Chess, is like, you know, check in with yourself. Take a minute to check in and go, okay, do I want to do this? Like, actually be honest with yourself, and don't think about it like, oh, he really wants to have sex with me. That's a compliment. I should have sex with him. It's like, no, what do you want to? Because if you don't actually want to, don't fucking bother.
Yeah. And also, you know, if we're checking ourselves here, check yourselves before you invite him home. You know, if you're feeling a bit like, you know what, you know, when you're feeling down and people say, oh, you know, get under someone to get over someone and stuff like that, just because that's other people's advice, you know, don't feel like you need to actually be in a position where you're just about to sleep with someone to know whether you're going to want it or not. Like, check in with yourself in the nightclub. Okay, do I actually quite like this person? Do I want to spend the evening with? Do I want to open up with this person? Or actually, am I doing it because it feels like it's the right thing to do in a nightclub, or whatever situation you're in? Or we've been dating for 3 months and I feel like it's what I'm supposed to do. You know, I think that whole big package is checking with yourself. And if anyone doesn't allow you to say no, then you never want to be with that person. You know,
you just literally call the fucking authorities.
Yeah.
If you're ever in a position where somebody is physically not letting you say no, physically get out of the fucking room and call the police. I don't care if it's embarrassing. I don't care if it's like one of your best friends. If somebody is forcing themselves on you ever, scream for help or call the authority, like, get out of the situation, because it's not right. And just like one last point, and I'm not demonizing men when I say this is to all the men who fucking operate this way. When Lydia's saying like no means no, it does absolutely mean no. Like, no does not mean try harder or convince me or impress me or wear me down until I say yes. Like, it's not an invitation to work harder for the answer that you want to get. It's as simple as that. And I had this conversation recently with somebody, and the guy said to me, well, actually, that it happens a lot that it's a game. Like, women play this game where they say no, but and I said, well, if you're with a woman who says no and means yes, you're fucking with a girl. You're not fucking with a woman, you know? Like, so ladies, remember that too. Like, don't send mixed signals to guys either. Like, be sure in yourself of what you do and don't want, and be clear, and don't play that game, because it discredits any woman that then does want to say no in that guy's future.
Yeah, do you know what? I've never ever thought about it like that, because I think I hold my hands up there. I've definitely had situations where, I've done that in the past, where you're doing that flirty thing, and it's the classic case of want to play hard to get. And I've never thought about it as actually that puts other women in a really, really vulnerable position. And I think that is where women need to unite a bit harder here. Yes, it might be really fun, and yes, it might be all about the chase, but there are other ways that, don't take away from other women, that you can play the chase. And I think that's definitely a big lesson for me. I've never heard it put black and white like that. And I will definitely be taking that away from this podcast, that actually, yes, it might be fun, but at the young ripe age of 21, it's not fun for the next woman that comes along that it isn't a joke for,
Girls, I love how we can all take and learn from each other, like from hearing each other's experiences, we can learn ourselves. So I hope all the Come Sit With Us listeners can learn too and take something away from it as well. So make sure you give us a follow on Instagram. So it's Come Sit With Us 101. And my Instagram is chess_victory. And girls, do you want to shout out yours?
Sure. Mine is @_neon saint on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, all that.
Twitch? What's Twitch?
Twitch, baby girl, is a streaming website, which I think I'm actually going to do my first live stream this evening.
No.
We're down.
Is this like the new TikTok?
No, this is like, it's live. So you broadcast live. People can chat in real time to you in a chat. So like gamers use it, but like this is like coming up hot and heavy in terms of like where television and stuff is going. It's all going to be like Twitch, YouTube, all that shit. Like with the younger kids, like that's what they're all watching. So like gamers like play games on Twitch and they stream it live, and people just like tune in and watch them. People do loads of stuff on it. You could like cook, do a cooking lesson, you could do dance, you could do whatever. We could do this podcast on it live
next time.
Twitch. We got Twitter, we got TikTok, we got Twitch. What's next? Honestly, I don't know what they're going to come up with. But yeah, mine is Life Lids. I am trying to think of all the handles I've got now. Instagram, I think, is the only one, because my name on TikTok's different. It's the other way around. Lids Life. I don't know why. It's very confusing. One day I will change that. I'll get there eventually. But thank you so much, everyone that has come and sit with us, wherever you are. Maybe you've been on a walk, maybe you've been on a run, maybe you've been lying on your sofa having a cup of tea. Whatever you've been doing, we hope that you guys feel that you can come and join us whenever you feel like you need to, and simply sit with us.
Yes, you're always welcome. And we want to always hear from you about any topic that your little heart desires. We are inviting you to let us have a chat with you about your specific issue. So feel free, guys, get in touch with us, send us a voice note, or just write in and we will cover your shit.
Yeah, and make sure you tune in next time to listen to the second episode of Come Sit With Us.